Hello everyone and welcome to WGLNA Season 3 Qualifier number 2. One more team will be able to join us in the top 16 to compete for the $100,000 prize pool in the Gold League. I am Joshua Clutch Gray, joined on the set by Randall Rookil Holcomb. Randall, you were here for Qualifier number 1. How did it go?
It went pretty spectacularly, Clutch. The teams looked fantastic. Next to our previous qualifiers, the bar has just been raised.
Well, that's good to hear, especially after 2 seasons. Fulcrum Gaming still on top, taking home now $100,000 total as a team. $50,000 first place prize for Season 1 and for Season 2. So looking pretty good. So can any team take them? Well, Simp Gaming has been in second place the last 2 seasons, but it's still anybody's game. With the top 16, we're going to have some changes compared to last season, especially with 2 teams that are joining us today in the qualifiers. So let's go ahead and check out what matches we have for tonight. First off, we have Kung Fu versus Namenlos. Next up, Arum versus Victoria's Secret. We saw Victoria's Secret at the last qualifier, at least for Season 2. Match number 3 will be Cavallo versus Detroit, Cavallo Detroit versus Doge Squad. After that, match number 4 is Simplistic versus Wreak Havoc, 2 teams that we're very familiar with.
Oh yeah, Wreak Havoc didn't have a great time though the last qualifier. Simplistic though wasn't even in the last qualifier for Season 3, so we really don't know where they stand quite right now.
Yeah, well, when it comes to Waffles, he's talking about changing the team name to Struggle Bus, so maybe if they're able to make it through the qualifiers, that won't be the case. However, it's going to be a tough matchup, Simplistic versus Wreak Havoc, for us to cheer for. And then finally for match 5, Oogie's Boogers versus Blue Turret. No, I did not make up that name. That is the name they registered with, so we might just call them OB for short.
That sounds like a pretty good idea, Clutch.
Versus Blue Turret. Now, these are the qualifiers, guys, so this is maybe not going to be the best World of Tanks play you're going to see, but these teams do deserve to be here. They did register, and they're willing to play in tonight, tomorrow, and the next day's matches, and we'll have the finals on Sunday. Now, we're going to be ripping through these matches very, very quickly here because we want to fill this spot as soon as we can to figure out who's going to join us in the top 16. Now, when it comes to the finals, they will be happening in February. However, we have not released the details yet for where the finals are going to be. However, group play will begin January 2nd. So right after your New Year's holiday, you definitely want to tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. More and more people are watching World of Tanks. I was in Korea this last week, and it was full, literally full of people. There was no open seat in the house over at the GOM studio. It is growing more and more internationally, and especially here in North America. And for Season 3, I'm excited for what these teams are going to bring and what type of play we're going to see, especially with the different type of tanks that people are bringing.
Yeah, I've already got a segment in the works just for qualifier stuff. There was some really cool stuff I saw at C'est La Vie that impressed me, just taking advantage of proper play. And it's just, we even actually saw a shootout this past qualifier. Just one.
Well, to explain the rule formats of 7x42 for those of you that are not as familiar with esports and World of Tanks, Randall, why don't you go ahead and break it down for us?
I'd be glad to, Clutch. 742. 7 players per team with 42 points allotted to each side. Now, every tank is equal in points to its tier. So tier 8 is worth 8 points, tier 1, 1 point. Matches are a best of 5, and if we don't see a winner by the end of that best of 5, we head over to our shootout rules, which on Malinovka, standard 742, we line both teams up on the 3 and the 5 line, and our admin will declare when to fire. If, perchance, someone did lack the discipline and fired too early, we would actually have to disqualify that team and then declare a winner right then and there.
That's how the rule format works. We'll see if anybody's going to bring a Waffentrager. That's one of the segments I've been working on for the garage pieces. We're going to have some more segments as well for this season. But for the segments that we had in Season 1 and 2, make sure to go to our website at WGLNA.com. Also, we'll be getting some of those uploaded to YouTube, but you can definitely find the VODs on Twitch. Also, follow us on Twitter at WGLNA and on Facebook.com/WGLNA. On Twitter, I'm Clutch08. He's Rookil2Us. And finally, we need to talk about the Open League. So the registration for the Open League began December 3rd. Rosters must be submitted for approval by December 15th of this year. Qualifier rounds begin Monday, December 16th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. That's 9:30 Eastern time. The Open League Winter 2014 rounds will occur every Monday and Friday. Once again, every Monday and Friday between 6:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Pacific time starting December 30th. Other than the Gold League qualifiers, which you're watching right now and all the registration is over with, the only way into the Gold League is to work your way up from the Open League through the Bronze and Silver. All you have to do is go to worldoftanks.com, click on Tournaments, then click on the Tournaments tab next to News, then scroll down to Open Qualifiers and click participate. So 3 leagues you can participate in before you make it to the Gold League, which is the professional league. You have the Open League, the Bronze League, and the Silver League. The Gold League is where the best of the best go to, because that's where you have all the money, $100,000 on the line for the prize pool. We're going to take a quick break. We come back. First game, Gong Fu versus Namenlos. Stay tuned. You're watching WGLNA. Welcome back to WGLNA. We're just about ready for qualifier number 2, match number 1 for day number 1. It is Gong Fu versus Namenlos. And Gong Fu is a team that was actually one of the first teams I've ever commentated for. Oh man, it feels like almost a year ago. Really? Yeah, just about a year ago. When after I commentated World of Tanks at WCG last year, I got involved with the community more, and then Millard invited me out to commentate one of the skirmishes, skirmish number 7. It was Gong Fu versus the Shot Blockers, which was it was us. That was, yeah,
we were the Shot Blockers.
That was a lot of fun.
That was it's amazing. I think it's been a year.
I know.
Back then, wow.
I know.
Well, battle has started, Clutch. It is going to be on steps,
which is a map that I'm looking forward to after the type of play that Fulcrum brought to the finals. Let's go ahead and jump into the game.
Taking a look at these tanks, we've got 2 IS-3s, a T-69, and 2 1390s, along with a T-1, actually one of them lacking equipment. On the other side, for Gong Fu in the red, we've got a Pershing, a T-16, 2 T-69s, 2 1390s.
Well, 1390s and T-69s are proving to be the tanks you bring to steps because of the movement speed, because of the tactical play you can have on such a big map. However, we've been seeing some other teams bring T-32s occasionally for that long-range fire and also to try to hold down half the map on some approaches. But that East Valley is usually a lot of the target fire coming from the south play up to the north, and that's what we're going to see here. An IS-3 from Iron Buster on the blue side, and the blue is going to be Namenlos. Some people may say this is a mistake having both of them out, but with the Alpha Strike damage and also the speed that these tanks can bring, they have a good amount of speed for a heavy tank.
Yeah,
so
decently. They get up to speed. It's just getting up to that speed. And out here, they've actually gotten up to about the max speed you can expect those IS-3s to hit. And I think they're just going to try and bully Gong Fu around with these. That's the thing. If they can actually get in close and make that happen, that fight, that brawl, they can definitely bully them out here. That's just the problem. They actually have to make that happen. I fully expect to see Gong Fu actually just kind of leave this area and just give up this ground, being pushed out by the IS-3s. Maybe they'll try and kite him out. Actually, it looks like we got actually a 1390 all the way in the middle right now. Having seen those IS-3s, no way they're going to be able to respond. So you've got Shumiking actually able to spot out Skyline in the T1 Cunningham. He might line up a shot, and he does stop out in the open to line up a shot. Not able to get it. That could have been a very early T1 advantage.
Shoryuken is in the T1 position at J5, Juliet 5, and he's trying to get some spotting over on the western side of the map. Not a whole lot going on that side. Looks like Cyclus is spotting the 1390, cruise around in the center, and some SOF help has been tagged from Namenlos saying, hey guys, guess what? We see something out there. Do we want to go and fire? No, not yet. The IS-3s are still going to stay behind cover, and they're going to have a slow approach up to the east, up to the north on the eastern valley. And then IS-3 is going to be leading the charge here. I like the new model of the IS-3. I keep looking at it going, what kind of tank is this? And I remember, oh yeah, they changed the outside model.
Yeah, they threw the machine gun on there and altered the angle a little bit. Actually, a lot of players are not as happy because they feel like the angles have been nerfed. And actually in the next patch, 8.10, I believe there's going to be some small corrections to the IS-3 armor. I believe I saw that somewhere in some patch notes.
I see. Well, I've been inside an IS-3, a real one. I've been outside of it, and it just, to me, seems a little bit more wider in real life. This seems a little more narrow in this tank model. But this was the pride of the Soviet Red Army when they first came out, and when the West saw the IS-3, they went, oh my gosh, we have to make something that can counter this because it's so good.
Yeah, and actually I believe there's different models with slight variations of the IS-3. Like you'll have slightly different hulls, and that's actually what they did. They updated the model to one that Wargaming in Russia, I believe. I'm having trouble remembering what museum they said they had it in, but a very specific IS-3 is the one you're seeing now.
Then we have the 1390s, Matte Knight and Hyper Ion Dark staying in the center. Down the Gulf line, and they're not seeing anything yet. That view range of the 1390, not the best, especially the long-range accuracy, not the best. However,
view range is okay. especially because these guys are probably mounting all optics. I'm going to check, actually.
Yep.
Every 1390 in this battle has optics.
Has optics? Well, then
yeah.
they got sufficient.
They have more than sufficient.
More than sufficient.
Yeah. Oh, over 400 they're seeing right now.
Well, they're not seeing anything yet, though, coming from the north. And it looks like the north side's moving more towards the west. The red team, Kung Fu, going for the western approach. And one of the medium tanks, I believe the Pershing, is pushing down there.
Yeah, I really think it's actually, that's QWERTY in the T69, along with Cyclist in the 1390. They are pushing around to the west. Little hit squad here. Between the T69 and 1390. They do find the T1 Shorkin, and it looks like we might have a T1 go down. He's going to try and run away. Is there anyone there to cover him, though?
That T1, just the 1390 is in the center, and that T69 is going to push up. Shorkin's going to fall away past the road, trying to get away as fast as he can. 1390 might approach, and he gets the kill. Nice shot, 1390 on the move. He's
that was actually
down.
a Pershing ho-ho across the way, and then Shumking in the 1390. These guys are making shots from mid and all the way across. That is
wow, that Pershing got that shot. That was just in the nick of time when he's getting to that road approach. I couldn't see that on my screen. Didn't pop up there.
I got you the clutch.
Thanks, man. That's why you're my battle buddy.
Exactly. Battle buddies for life. The Pershing, though, great shot. I mean, he made it. That's probably a good 400-meter shot right there across the map. And the Pershing, great tank to make it with. That 90 mil. I really love the 90. A lot of people hate it for its lack of, they say DPM. They hate on the DPM of the 90, but it really is a solid gun. And on the platform, the soft stats. I mean, Chieftain talked to you about soft stats of the, was it the Pershing or was it the M103 or something?
It was the M26, and we talked about the Pershing hard stats versus soft stats.
Yeah, it's American tanks. They've got the soft stats going for them.
How would you define the difference between hard stats and soft stats to our viewers that maybe?
Yeah, okay. So hard stats are the numbers that you get to see, the damage output, average damage, your accuracy, how much time it takes for a gun to settle. But what you don't get to see a lot is the gun depression or gun elevation. You don't get to see the spaced armor on some tanks. It doesn't talk about that on the IS-3, for example. That's a soft stat.
Yep.
The spaced armor like that.
It's like a little surprise.
Yeah.
Like, guess what? This tank can do this as well. Well, the two IS-3s are buckling down just past the Eastern Valley approach, just on the top of the hill here. And they're not seeing anything yet. 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Two of the T1s were killed immediately.
Oh, Matt Knight is spotted out. He's going to take a shot down to 844 from across the way. I guess that was the Pershing ho-ho making that shot. QWERTY may have spotted him. And now IS-3s are going to get spotted. More shots getting put out. And T69 Kapanga is spotted.
Well, Cyclist was the one getting those hits against Matt Knight. Matt Knight's going to fall back away here towards Kapanga. For some reason, I'm thinking of Boy Meets World.
That's what I thought of, like Topanga, yeah.
And now QWERTY. 221 is spotted on the T69. But he's going to push up a little bit. 3 minutes and 33 seconds, though. This is going to have to be a fast cleanup from Kung Fu here if they're going to get a win.
I don't see it happening, but they are starting to move in. We've got Pershing, Ho-Ho, Hahi moving up a little bit. But if there were a real push out of Namenlos, just straight up booking it at whatever enemy they spotted, they would have an overmatch. You'd have a 1390 and a Pershing out of position. Kung Fu is really split up, but oh wow, and even Ho-Ho gets spotted there and takes a hit down to 1052. That's an IS-3.
That's right. That was coming out of Iron Buster. They got the long-range shot. Now they're trying to move their turrets over towards the T69. Help being called from the IS-3s on the approach, as Kapanga does have the lead in with that T69 against QWERTY. This is going to be a back-and-forth firefight. If no teams are going to commit, it will go to a draw on steps. It is a big map. It is the first match of Qualifier number 2. But Kapanga takes a hit in the T69. He's up against a rock. He takes another one for 263 damage, 830 at a 1350. QWERTY takes a shot at himself in the IS-3. It misses. Another one does hit from Iron Buster, and he's at 1134 at a 1350. Kapanga now down to 587 at a 1350. 1390 from fall away. Shumaking trying to get some shots on him. 2 more, and he will go down. 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Shumaking gets some return fire, and he gets hit. QWERTY hit again at 751. IS-3 is trying to keep that T69 undercover and not moving out whatsoever. The T69 is caught. Kapanga now down at 330.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing a victory win condition for either of these teams. These IS-3s don't have the maneuverability to bring the fight to Kung Fu. Kung Fu is just too fast, and they can't afford to go in on these IS-3s. They could try their hardest, but with a minute 56, it's very risky. The IS-3s will begin their push, though, as Shumaking is all the way on the other side of the map. Looks like they're going to push towards QWERTY in the T69.
Kapanga down at 133. He falls to Cyclist. Cordy now getting assault fired against the IS-3s. He takes a hit, but Ryle Cinch takes 2 hits. Now at 447, he's going to have to back up. He gets hit from behind. Servios and the T69 cleans him up. However, Matt Knight takes down Cordy.
And now Cyclist in the 1390 is all the way on the top of a hill. He's getting free shots into Iron Buster, just unloading. And it looks like he's going to be empty for now, as it looks like Servios is actually going to move in. There is a T1 down. Daniel W. Tang finally going down. He was so close to the enemy positions this whole time.
He was. Ho-Hey misses a shot against Hyperion Dark. Hyperion Dark falls behind the rocks. Matt Knight takes another hit to the front. He is low. One more good shot. High roll could take him down at 336. Minute left for the red team to clean this up. Ho-Ho takes another shot.
And now Servios does move in on Iron Buster. He's got enough to finish him off, but the spaced armor of the IS-3 may prove effective enough, as it looks like a T1's even going to come in, try and block shots. T1 can't pen an IS-3. Servios actually bounces a shot, and actually from the side, 1390 Cyclist is going to help out, finishing him off. T69. He was just not effective against that tank. Now 1 tank left, 30 seconds remain.
Hyperion is going to be on the run in that 1390, turning his turret over, try to get a shot on the run. Cyclist, falling way too behind here, is going around the valley instead of cutting across. They need to get some eyes on him, and it looks like he is spotted. Shots being fired. That one missed. Hyperion needs to get tracked here. 18 seconds left. This needs to be a kill for a win for the red team, for Gong Fu, and they get it just in time with 11 seconds on the board. Gong Fu takes battle number 1 of match number 1 for qualifier number 2. On Cordy, but he's taking some hits from the other side. The IS-3 is absorbing that damage compared to the 5100. 5100 trying to block for the T1. T1's killed by Hyperion. Servios destroys Matt Knight. Now Cyclist is in some trouble. And Namenlos is in a bit of the lead here for tier 8s that are still left alive, but not for long. Ryle Cinch down at 182. Ho-Ho, the T69 not able to get the cleanup kill, and Servios in the 110 still proves to be a very powerful opponent for the remaining tier 8 tanks for Namenlos. This could come down to a draw, folks. T69 still left alive though for Ho-Ho. The T1, Shorkin, all the way to the north going to the
T1s are going to face off. This is so important for a draw, and it looks like Chen Baiyu will get the kill. Ho-Ho, Ahi, and Chen Baiyu. Oh, wow, and another T1. Kapanga actually is able to find him. If Chen Baiyu can actually live for a little bit longer, they can salvage this for a draw. I feel like you have a Namenlos victory just waiting to happen. And it also looks like Ho-Ho Hahi will come and back up Chen Baiyu. Chen Baiyu is now climbing the hill. Looks like that 110 Servios is just going to get taken down.
Oh, yes. He tried to land one more shot on Iron Buster on his reload, but yep, he was taken down. And 20 seconds left to go. Ho-Ho. And the T69 takes down the T1. And Chen Baiyu still left alive here. 11 seconds left to go on the clock. This could be a draw. Gong Fu may have survived this.
They've definitely got this. I mean, I don't see anyone near the hill right now for Namenlos. They cannot cap in time. 1-0. Nope. That is a draw.
Gong Fu still in the lead after that. Himmelsdorf proved to be straight-on defensive play from Namenlos, but they were able to win out against the play of the tier 8s moving up against them. Looking at the firefight next to the church, I felt that the IS-3 was in a good position. He landed really good shots, but they needed to just go to the church and wait instead of trying to fight back and forth and even come around the corner, because they lost about 1 or 2 shots that way. Have your opponent come to you and save the T1. You know?
Yeah, well, it was just a really good shot.
It was
just so solid, snaking that right pass. It's hard to cover a T1 with an IS-3. The IS-3 is kind of short. 5100's a really good tank to hide it, but at the same time, I mean, you can only do so much. It's just really good job by Namenlos right there. Crossfire was really solid, though, from Gong Fu. I really expected it to perform a little bit better.
I think they needed to focus maybe just a tiny bit more on the focus fire. They did spread their damage a little bit at the beginning. It got better at the end, but they were focusing on the IS-3. Now, if you have 2 5100s and an IS-3, and their health is about the same, who do you focus fire on?
5100 IS-3. It depends on how you expect the fight. I mean, if you've got big autoloaders, right, you got to get those IS-3s out, because what happens when your 5100s start reloading, you're going to have 3 tanks down, and you're only going to have 2 IS-3s. You need to get some of those out of there, at least to the point where you have an IS-3 lead. So when everyone's reloading, you've got that advantage. Then, after that, I mean, you want to also get some 5100s if you can, especially if you can nuke one down right before it's unloaded. But if a tank's unloaded, you generally can let that 5100 get away, get the IS-3, then worry about the 5100s. It's really difficult, though. It just is.
It comes down to calling it how many shots they have. Now, if that
Yeah.
5100 has all 6 shots, I'm going to focus on that 5100
Every day.
because its burst damage is going to do more damage in that window of time I need to capture compared to the IS-3.
Yeah.
And that has to come down to a feeling almost, a gut feeling of what to decide on. You can't think about it either because every second you take of not shooting,
Yes.
that's another second they have to shoot you and take down your HP. Next map's going to be on Ruinberg. We're going to cruise through these here, folks, and see if we can get a winner here soon. Gongfu versus Namenlos. Ruinberg proved to be a map that was used not that often compared to other maps.
They really shied away for a while. This is the Pro League, for everyone who's wondering. Just, we didn't see it as much. Teams just said, you know what, I don't feel like it. It's a slow map. It was one of our highest draw maps for a little while. It's starting to get faster, though. I'm really seeing some faster strats. I sat in on a few practices in the past few days, the past weeks, and I'm seeing it speed up a lot. Well, just with our WGLNA teams. With a lot of these practice teams, I don't, of course, get to sit with them. They might be a little bit behind the meta. I mean, the top guys are all practicing with each other all the time. They're always getting a little bit better and better. Everyone else is kind of stuck watching them and playing catch-up. So we're going to have to see what kind of strats they go. I'm expecting, of course, the north to go to the east, the south. It's probably west of the cap. Those are the most common strats.
I was also thinking of Prohorovka and how many times we saw draws on that map, which was rare compared to Season 1. Season 1, that was the action map. That was the Arnold Schwarzenegger map. You know something was going to happen and it was going to be fun to watch. But in Season 2, it completely changed. And a lot of it was some of that longer draw fire, the T-32s or even tank destroyers being brought to the map. And again, we comment on these changes because the evolution of what these teams bring and what these teams work on is intriguing to all of us to see how it is forming when it comes to the meta game of World of Tanks. And with these teams here, Gongfu's a team that's been around for a while. Namenlos, I've never seen them before.
It's, I believe when I talked to them yesterday, I was organizing matches, I believe they're Brazilian, and Namenlos is actually German. It means nameless. It was really confusing because I thought they were German at first, and I was like,
what are you guys doing? You should be contacting ESL for, for
I
Europe League.
I was a little confused with that, but then they told me they were Brazilian. I was like, oh, and they just like metal, and it's a weird little connection to their name, I think.
Okay,
there. But
well, great.
It's but there's some cool guys. They seem pretty excited also to get streamed. It's always nice to see someone who's like, yeah, I would love to get casted, and then other teams are a little bit shyer for it.
Cool. Well, we did have a couple Brazilian. We had one Brazilian team last season. That
was it's game over.
Game over.
Yeah.
Game over. They almost made it. They almost made it to the finals.
Yeah.
Almost made it. So guys, Namenlos, get your passports ready. You know, just in case you guys make it to the finals, you're gonna have to have those, and it's not a day turnaround. It takes a little while to get your passports, at least the American ones. But let's go ahead and jump to the map, guys. Ruinberg, battle number 3, Gongfu versus Namenlos.
Taking a look at these tanks, we've got 3 5100s, 2 IS-3s. For Namenlos on the side of Kung Fu, we've got a 110, 2 5100s, a T-69, and a 1390. Definitely different approaches to this map, and we're going to have to follow Cyclist right at the beginning.
Oh, that 110 play from Servios. I like that tank being brought. It's got a little bit better of a shoot at the front. So I feel it's a better tip of the spear for some of the ambushes that it can have. And it's got a really good damage output, but Soviet will tell you the IS-3 armor, the IS-3 Spirit of Russia is stronger.
He's a little biased.
That's okay.
Just a little bit.
There's nothing wrong with being a little bit biased. you gotta stand up for something or you'll fall for everything.
Wisely said. The 110. I do like the 110. It is just it's got great TPM, and that Shuka, like you were talking about, so strong.
And he'll fight me more in the WZ-132 than the 13.
Well, I definitely would agree. The WZ-132 not so great. Just don't. No one.
It's the A-wing. It's the A-wing, man. The A-wing took down the Executor.
The A-wing? I thought it was it a Y-wing?
No, it was
an A-wing. Oh yeah, spinning out.
Crashed. Yeah, spun out. And
I really don't believe that should have happened. I mean, an A-wing doesn't.
Well, it crashed into the bridge controls and it started a chain reaction into the
but there should be shields for that.
The shields were down.
What are the shields down?
The shields got shot down.
Oh yeah.
It happens right before, and then they shot down the shields and Admiral Pike is like, oh, our shields are down, and then the A-wing's coming and they're like, oh god, and they jump. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Yeah, it's actually been a little while for me. I forgot about the shields.
I've only seen it about 56 times in my lifetime.
Jeez.
And that's the movie I've probably watched the most is Return of the Jedi. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, I bring this up because the TIE Fighter is on this map. It's this area right here that's the TIE Fighter.
Nice.
Well, this is defensive play from Namenlos again here.
That's the TIE Fighter clutch?
This is the TIE Fighter.
Oh, you're using your mouse.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it. I look up and I see IS-3s.
No, this is not the TIE Fighter, guys. This is an IS-3.
I got your TIE Fighter. Right here.
Booyah. What a beautiful park.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of park, it's a parking lot right now for all these tanks. Not moving whatsoever from Namenlos. Matt Knight in the 5100.
Oh, T1 spotted. Shorkin versus Daniel W. Tang. They're going to square off. T1 fight.
And he's right around the corner.
Now they're just proxied right through the buildings. Is anyone coming back from Namenlos to get this T1?
Looks like no. Kapenga's the only other one that's spotted here. That is seen for a while.
Here comes Big Brother Ho-Ho.
Oh, how you doing? Boom! A little hey, how you doing to that T1, and now Shorkin is down.
T1 advantage definitely going to Kung Fu. I think it's very important on this map. And Kung Fu being from the south here, having that north cap, if they can get their T1s to survive long enough, put them on cap, start a screen, start that fight anywhere else, definitely a victory waiting to happen. Namenlos is going to have a hard time making any kind of cap happen. It's just difficult when you spawn on the north. I'm very surprised that they actually went west, Namenlos. I don't know if that's the best strategy.
Well, it may not be the best, but it does provide them with the most amount of cover. So when it comes to a checklist of how to play the most offensive, this is the most offensive. But that east, that village is completely taken over by Kung Fu, and it's going to be completely open for them to take that flag cap. There's only one tank left alive that's staying on that side, and that's Kapanga. And he does see a 1390 from far away. 1390 moving in towards the F crossroads here. And will he see anything from Namenlos?
Huge hits going out from 5100s. That is 5100. Wow, that is
Hyperion Dark.
Hyperion Dark and Iron Buster both taking hits. Little health advantage there, along with that T1 advantage. Going, oh, wow, that showed up really late for me.
And now Hyperion Dark's going to go back to the dark side, back to the north with Matt Knight in the 5100. They're going to play defensive, and there goes the rest of Namenlos following behind. They got close to the fire, and now they want to get out of the
Kapanga is spotted in the T1. Ho-Ho lines up a shot. Does not connect with the first one, and shots onto Ho-Ho from the west side. Hyperion is able to actually take him down to 1083. Ho-Ho not quite having that situational awareness to recognize that he left himself in the open. Is going to be forced to retreat, actually, as it looks like Kapanga is spotted again. Maybe someone will be able to get some kind of cover fire. Getting that T1 out would be huge right now for Kung Fu.
It would be, but what does Kung Fu do here now? It's a complete defensive play. They do have an HP advantage. They do have a kill on Shorkin. They need to concentrate fire and push, and they need to not miss their shots. If they do that, they win. Well,
remember, they have a lighter setup. 3 5100s, 2 IS-3s. Just the initial engagement, you're going to see more damage go out from Namenlos than you are from Kung Fu.
That's
just
true.
The way it is. Now, the burst following that will compete with that. The T69 has great burst. I mean, very small amount of time. Just about 10 seconds.
Well, because of that speed, they don't have to all go down the same avenue of approach. They can have the 1390 moving from behind along with the T69, get some flank fire, and then as soon as the turrets move towards them, back out, and then your 5100s push in and do a relay fire. Just shoot, 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 back up, reload, and then go.
And definitely that could work out, but you don't know exactly where your opponent is, so trying to get that engagement just so.
That's right.
You need that. You need those T1s to get the vision,
volley.
to get that knowledge.
That's the word I was looking for.
You need a volley
of fire.
Ah, okay.
That's right. That was volleyball. That's right. Okay, there's that T1 again. Daniel W. Tang and Kapanga.
Squaring off again.
That's right.
If Daniel wants to go kill Kapanga, he's gonna have some trouble because there are tanks waiting to the west to back him up. Kapanga's pretty safe right now, but we could see someone approach from Daniel Tang's southwest right now. And that would be probably Servios, actually, who is moving up in the 110, may be able to take down this T1 with that, cutting off some vision, knowledge from Namenlos, and a potential for cap pressure. He is getting a little closer now. Just waiting for him to kind of line the shot up. Kampanga's stuck there. Just completely stuck now.
110's going to go for the shot.
Yes!
Yes!
There it is. Now, 2 T1 advantage right now for Kung Fu. Looks like Servios is going to go try and peek around the corner, see if there's anyone waiting around. But I think Cyclist in 1390 could start inching up. Yes, he does. He does start inching up in these little bushes. Servios takes a hit down to Well, 11:31.
Yep. Ryle Cinch got that in the IS-3, hiding behind these two buildings, trying to get that reverse angle. Not just a standard angle going on against that Servios 110.
Although Servios in the 110, you know, you can try to reverse angle, but reverse angling in a 110 isn't really as effective. You don't have that spaced armor the IS-3 has.
Ryle trying to go for that reverse angle here.
Well, he's doing it very well, successfully. And actually, 5100s are going to...
Oh, another nice hit from Ryle. Now the 1390 is going to push up.
And that is a huge hit. Cyclist tries to help out, but these 5100s look like they're getting completely wasted. And there goes the first one. Iron Buster goes down, and more shots might go out, but it looks like Hyperion has actually backed off in the 5100. He's sitting at a really low hit points. Now the fight could happen once these 5100s reload. Skyline is spotted. Terry loves shooting your bird. Puts a shot out on Skyline down to 1169. Another shot misses. Third shot does not connect. And I'm guessing Terry's got to be reloading by now. Hasn't he fired all his shots? Yes, he has.
Supposed to. Ho-Ho takes another hit. Gong Fu's going to have to approach the other side. They're trying to fight this firefight with the positioning of Namenlos is not going to their distinctive favor quickly enough. Ryle takes another hit, though. Servios in the 110 looks like that was a bounce. Sky in the IS-3. He's not budging. He's waiting for anyone to pop around that corner, and he's going to move in for a calculated shot as Ryle Cinch tries to be the bait for the rest of Gong Fu. Gong Fu, you need to move. You need to make a move now. The doors are open for you to move through the F road and come across for the flank, but they're not moving yet.
It looks like Cyclist has done that. He is in F1 right now, just spotting that backfield. He's trying, looks like he's trying to line up a shot, but he just might be. Yes, first shot goes out onto Matt Knight, 11:45 hit points left. He then is going to run away following that. Very smart. He is spotted, I guess, and he's going to hide behind the fountain. Now they know the flank is here, and their tanks grouping up. I guess they're going to sack maybe one or two of these T1s.
Daniel for the sacrificial play.
But they're not going to play off it. They're not playing off this right now. I'm really surprised. I would have expected there to be some kind of push following these T1s. IS-3s have about an 8-second reload there, so taking out a T1 is costly.
Yep.
They could have gotten position from this.
Now Servios in his position, trying to land another hit against Rao. Rao not budging. He's going back.
Cyclist is in the backfield. He has a shot on Skyline, but he stops way in the open. It's really exposed right now, and he's going to zero shot on Skyline. First one misses. Let your shots settle. 1390. There's the second one. Does settle. 903 hit points. 659 right into the engine. Another shot is a miss. Cyclist, make them count. Down to 87 there. Terry actually is going to get the finishing shot, and they will. Are they going to move in yet? 52 seconds left. Cyclist has found some 5100s, and they're not even looking at him.
They're trying to move in now, but Hyperion and Matt Knight have proven to be a force to be reckoned with, these 5100s. But the other approach, Cyclist moves in. He's going to go for a ram damage for only 42 hit points. However, he will track, at least try to track, trying to land another shot. He falls to Hyperion. Taking a lot of damage there. 30 seconds on the clock. It's going to take 3 tanks to get this without a reset. Another tank goes down. T69 cleans up Rao. Matt Knight going to have to go for the reset through the window. He gets the kill. The reset happens. So this has to be a full-on kill. Ho-Ho coming around the corner against a 5100 with 13 seconds left. They have to kill Matt Knight in order to get the victory here.
He has 748. Ho-Ho needs to recognize Matt's probably reloading right now. Don't risk wasting a shot. 3, 2, 1. Will the shot happen? The 110 gets it, and that is a victory for Gong Fu.
Wow, barely in time with that last shot. Gong Fu now up 2-0 in this best of 5 with 1 draw on the board. I want to go ahead and bring up the team score here. Looking on the side of Gong Fu, we had 10 for 12 on Shuma King for 2,360 damage. Nice fire from the 5100. Terry loves shooting your bird, 8 for 12. Cyclist, 6 for 8, had 2 that did not, 7 direct hits, but 2 did not penetrate. The 110, 6 for 8. So they're pretty much 2/3 of every their shots penetrated and did damage.
That's all right. That's all right. There was a lot. I feel like there was a lot of potential to push in. They played this really slow, just not putting out all the, not risking anything really for any of their positions. They just waited for Namenlos to get spotted. Played it very slow, depending on that 1390, heavily depending on that 1390. If he would have gone down, I'm not sure Gong Fu would have still felt confident to push in, at least from what I saw.
There was multiple instances where there were many windows open for Gong Fu, but it was not happening for them. And that comes to hesitation. It comes to inexperience. And when we see teams that perform very, very well, the top caliber when it comes to North America and even the world, that they already know the windows of opportunity they're trying to set up and they go for it. They don't hesitate. And that's why you have to have those T1s move into those specific positions. The one T1 that was sacrificial play, yeah, they took a shot and the 110 could have moved out there. However, those 5100s were locked and loaded, ready to go. But if they had cyclists shooting the 1390 against the 5100s, he's focusing on them. The 110 goes out, or the T1 goes out, and the 110 follows him. The 110 now is behind the other building. He can get a cross shot on that IS-3. Another one moves out. They get that kill. They pull back. They reload. Cyclist is still focusing on the 5100s. So you have to have battles happening in different areas, and it just was not happening for Kong.
Yeah, they just didn't distract their opponent. They really, it was really one-dimensional approaches. 1390 eventually started doing things on his own, but you still had no one going to support him. You gotta distract that 1390 flank. It can be so much more potent. Yeah. Next battle does look like it's gonna actually be on Ensk, so we might still see a 1390. We might still see a T69 out of Kung Fu. They really love that tank. They really love bringing it in.
I saw a team. What was it? Team Ukraine versus Team Germany. And that was an incredible play on this map. And Team Germany, this was at WCG.
It's WUSA, right?
Team WUSA, yeah. Which was the leader, Dr. Trua, who looks like a James Bond villain, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he looks perfectly like a James Bond villain. He was a member of Oda Mortis, which is one of the top teams in Europe from Germany. So he left and made his own team, and that was the German representation at WCG. They're on this map, and they were up. They were up 2-0 over Team Ukraine. And on Ensk, they did this really bad approach on the building side on the east, where they didn't have to meet out and aggress the Team Dignitas, the Team Ukraine. They could have held. But they went out and met them, and they lost, and then they lost every map after that. So it was a reverse all-kill for Team Ukraine. It was really tough to see because Team WUSA looked so good. So
they were surprising, man. Just a German team that seemed, at least to most of us, to be out of nowhere. It wasn't like a team of people that we all recognize from the European League. And I was like, these guys seem like they're just coming out of nowhere. You Oda Mortis, yeah, but I don't think the rest of the team really was, right? The rest of the team was just a bunch of people we really didn't recognize.
Well, that he put together, they might have been from, they had to have been from the community, of course, from Germany, so they had to be all German citizens. But they will be competing, I believe, in the Pro League over in Europe. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. Battle number 4, Kung Fu versus Namenlos. Stay tuned. You're watching WGLNA. Hey, everybody, welcome back to WGLNA. We're jumping into battle number 4 of Kung Fu versus Namenlos. It is not going to be on Ensk. There was a map change. It's going to be on Prohorovka. Let's jump into the map.
Taking a look at these tanks, 5100, IS-3, T-32, and two 1390s for the side of Namenlos. For the side of Kung Fu, we have a T-32, a Pershing, a T-69, and two 1390s. I'm really looking at one of these 1390s, Kampenga. Look at that. That is a toolbox, binocs, and vents. That's a really strange loadout, stylistically, at least for one of those 1390s.
Hey, man, you got to get the repairs going fast in case his tracks go down. But I'm looking at the IS-3 again from Namenlos on a type of this type of map, and also a T-32. They can't play defensive. If they lose this, or if it's a draw, it's a win for Kung Fu.
Yeah.
And the Namenlos will be out of the qualifiers. This is a must-win scenario for Namenlos these next 2 matches, and then they'll take us to a shootout.
The opening runs here from 1390s, we got Shumking actually is able to spot out T-32 and IS-3 as they go to the west, verifying, of course, that there's a west side play from Namenlos, east side from Kung Fu.
And we see this map divided 2 different ways, west to east, east to west, which is the same way.
Yeah.
or north to south, or south to north, depending on which viewpoint you have.
It's all based on perspective.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. More Star Wars quotes. Kampenga. And a 1390 cruising around here. Cruising for a bruising, really. As soon as a shot lands on him, he's going to be hurting pretty bad. Although he does see the T-32. Ho, ho, ha, he. Won't be laughing here in a little bit.
Well, he might just be because of his amazing T-32 turret. American steel.
That's right, man.
Bounces everything, man. Nothing's going to... Oh, Terry Love shooting a bird, peeks up and fires on Kapanga, but no connection there. Terry's wasted one shot and also blown the element of surprise he had there for a minute. It was not proxied by Raul. And now he tries to back up. He's looking for Raul. And he will connect,
Boom.
Not taking any damage in return, actually.
That's right. He goes up in smoke. That's all that's left of him. Ha ha. Ho ho ha he. The T32. Along with Servios and the T69 still on the western side. They are spotted by what is left of Namenlos, which is still 41 tier points of tank. Still a lot to be reckoned with. And Kapanga in the 1390, he's going to be the one that is further east.
Ooh,
and
shot.
he takes a shot. Nice hit.
That is Ho Ho Ha He in the T32, and he will bounce. The shot will bounce off of him in response. Like they're using the buildings actually between the western heavy position of Namenlos and the eastern position of Gongfu to shield themselves while they get free shots on Kapanga. Kapanga is down to 860 now. Cyclists in the Pershing and the T32 are going to have almost free shots. 1390s can also get crossfire. This is well done by Kung Fu. They actually look like they're really good. They have an approach to this. They have a win condition they're working for.
They do. This is actually reminding me a bit of the type of approach that was brought from Fulcrum, except it was on the opposite side of the map. And Nagatron went all the way to the south on the railroad tracks, crossed over on the Juliet 7 side, and was able to get a couple hits from his 1390.
Always good.
Even though you don't get a kill initially, if you're able to get a couple HP hits and not take any damage yourself, that's a battle victory. That's a small victory, and small victories lead to the bigger victory. It leads to the victory that you need to move on.
You always need to be working to advance your position.
That's
not,
right.
Not physically your position all the time, but your advantage. You have to try and keep constantly getting it. Ho-Ho takes a hit, paying to get into a position on the 5 line, but he'll have a wonderful little haul down that he's going to be able to work with. Looks like the IS-3 Skyline even took some hits from 1390s, and Matt Knight's taken a few hits from a number of places, maybe.
Yeah, his T-32's been lit up to the side. So is the IS-3, as you mentioned, Skyline. But Cyclists and Servios are spotted from far away. Is anyone able to get a shot on them? Looks like not at the moment. Matt Knight moving back and forth, trying to get in a good hold-down position, but he's got curvature to his armor. And he's going to try to increase the bounces here.
He's working on it, but it doesn't look like Matt Knight's actually going to... I see his turret, at least from where I am at watching Ho-Ho Hahi. And it looks like Ho-Ho's actually just going to keep trying to spot stuff. He doesn't even see the 1390 on the other side of the hill. Ho-Ho does not see Kapanga.
No, not yet. I think Ho-Ho's trying to get closer to that rock formation.
Yeah, the slope is a little easier on the 32. And I mean, there's some absurd slopes here. Which even
Kapanga may have a shot coming from the side. T-32 pops up for a second. Shots fired against Ho-Ho, but they hit the dirt and not the tank. However, T-32 crops up again. Kapanga sees him. Kapanga trades a shot, though. He's down 6-1-6.
Kapanga doesn't stick around for a second shot and actually starts trying to juke. And then Hyperion also put shots out. Kapanga down to 376. Ho-Ho down to 596. Huge trade. Actually, more help, I think, being taken off of the T-32 than that 1390.
But this is a great time for the southern or the western approach to be flanked from the east coming out of Gongfu, but they are not committing themselves over the railroad in time. The Pershing finally moving out, but they were not able to get those shots as they focused on the T-32. T-32 did his job, but the rest of Gongfu is going to have to land another hit. Kapanga takes one at 149. Ho-Ho's going to try to fall back. Terry Loves moving around, but he is not in a good position to get a shot here.
Yeah, it does look like Ho-Ho's going to try and get a shot on Skyline. As Skyline peeks up and might expose himself. Shot bounces. Ho-Ho is tracked in response. Also at this exact time, a Pershing cyclist is moving up on the flank in his Pershing. He can grab the high ground, but he looks hesitant to do so. T-69 could move up with him. Between the two of them, they could take really anything. And actually, tank will go down.
Yep.
Ho-Ho does.
They take down the T-32, and now the Tier 8 advantage is going to go to Namenlos.
From what I'm seeing out of where Ho-Ho is dead, I'm not liking that. Ho-Ho got really aggressive and actually put himself up on flat ground, abandoning any kind of hold-down position for his T-32 just to get a shot around the rock. Not a fan of that. Completely exposing himself to Skyline and other tanks. It's just one tank being aggressive. Looks like he's doing things, trying to work for stuff, but other tanks just sitting there waiting around.
Well, Kung Fu does not have to push in. They can play for the draw and win the series. I don't know why they have to be so aggressive. This has to be the play of Namenlos here.
But you don't want to play for a draw, because if you play for a draw, it's just you're giving up the possibility of winning. I think Kung Fu actually is trying to burn the clock, just with the way they're playing. I think that's what it is. They're playing very slowly, and you see a lot of engagements happen only later in the battle when they feel like they can salvage a draw out of it. I think that's what I'm seeing out of Kung Fu.
That is playing for the draw. You burn, you burn the clock out.
You burn it down, and you shouldn't play for the draw because you want to have all that time for you to do work, right? You want to start the engagement a little earlier so you can salvage it, unless I guess you don't feel confident that you can win.
Well, they felt overconfident pushing too far on the map, and now they're down a tier 8, especially effective one for defense, a T32, which loses map control and makes Namenlos in a position they can come back and win this, not securing a complete match victory for Kung Fu. You want to play you want to play the easiest road possible to move on in the qualifier. You want to make it easiest for yourself, for your teammates to get that $50,000 prize pool. At least in my opinion.
But the thing is, what you think may be the easiest is actually hurting. You need to get practice at the aggressive strategies, because when you go up against teams like Fulcrum Gaming, you are not going to have a chance to play like this.
But these are not aggressive strategies coming out from Namenlos.
Yeah, that's the thing though. If they play like this against Fulcrum Gaming, Fulcrum Gaming is going to bully them. That's at least what I feel like. You got a T32 going out there under cover of some tanks, and you got a Pershing coming out to the southwest to try and flank, but then he doesn't do it. He's just sitting here on the backside. They do switch up their strat a little bit. You've got a Servios in the T69 now trying to... He's got a nice northeast kind of crossfire, while at the same time you've got the 1390 Shum King, and that is Terry Love Shooting Your Bird. They will come in actually down the 1 line, and with that 1 line push they could do all right, but what are they going to run into? Are they going to run into actually a well-designed Namenlos defense?
No.
No?
No, they're going to run into a spread that's trying to cover the flag cap at 1 minute and 32 seconds while they approach from the south. That southern approach is going to be headed up by the T1. They will see the T32 first. The Pershing from Cyclist is going to move up, and he's going to get in a better position to land a shot against Skyline, and he does. Another hit from the T1 against the 5100. Nothing's able to penetrate yet. It's a little bit too far. Another shot against the IS-3. It is a bounce up to the front of his armor. Skyline's going to turn around and try to get a shot on the Pershing. He shoots it, misses, it's in the dirt. Cyclist now has another opening to try to get a hit against that IS-3 as the T1 moves further up on the road. He falls to Hyperion Dark, and that is a 1390 shot that was used against him.
I saw some misses hitting dirt as well, and it looks like Terry and Shum King are finally going in. They're going to focus down on Matt Knight. There goes Daniel W. Tang. Both T1s are down. And now Matt Knight is down to 351. 2 more shots should take him out. One of them is a bounce. Wasted shots by 1390 as Terry Love Shooting a Bird down to 166. Shuma King is able to actually... Wow, Servio's taking down the 5100 very quickly. Both tier 8s down. Now Skyline only remains in the IS-3.
And he's going to fall to Shuma King coming around the corner of the 1390. Well, one more hit against him. It's a miss from Shuma King. He's still on the run.
Don't shoot on the move in a 1390.
No.
Just you can do it at close range, but you're not going to get guaranteed shots. That reticle is massive right now.
Pershing bounces a hit. 1390 from Terry Love shooting. Now this Pershing looks like he gets the kill. 1390 still left alive. Hyperion Dark. He's going to be on the run while he takes down the T69. T1 still left alive. It's going to be a draw, but that means Kung Fu is going to win this series. Since that was battle number 4 and they had 2 wins, it is impossible for Namenlos to tie the series, and that's it, man. Now, I like what Kung Fu did at the end. That was a good push, and that's the type of practice. And I agree with you that you need to play the best that you can play. But when you're playing against a team that's going to play the defensive over and over and over again,
you had a point.
It just comes down to, all right, guys, if you want to play this game, fine. And that's it reminded me of the German team. They're up 2-0. They only need 1 more win, and instead of holding back and waiting for Team Dignitas, for the Ukraine team to make a mistake, they're the ones that made the mistake, and it cost them the entire series.
But that Ukrainian team was sick.
They're good.
Just disgustingly good.
So was the German team.
I mean, the Ukrainian team, though, I really felt they were so sick. The German team did really well. They played that German game. I felt like they played. This is just us talking about WCG now.
Yeah.
But they played kind of gimmicky, almost weird stuff. Not pure meta, not hard meta like you play this way and you try to flank and do this and that you see very commonly. They did stuff that was a little funky. It was there to throw off, and I felt like it was counterplayed at Ukraine, and then they caught on.
Perhaps.
Yeah, but they did make the mistake on it, so you're still right about that.
Oh, it was a big one. Gong Fu is able to win it out versus Namenlos, and they will move on in the qualifiers. See them participate tomorrow, depending on where the brackets go. Our next match is going to be Arum versus Victoria's Secret. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We come back. Qualifier number 2 of Season 3 for the WGLNA Gold League continues after this.